What if a man could disappear on a lonely highway and leave behind just enough evidence to convict someone of murder, but never enough to prove the truth? On July 14, 2001, the vast emptiness of the Australian Outback became the stage for one of the world's most chilling mysteries. Peter Falconio, a 28-year-old British backpacker, was driving along the remote Stuart Highway with his girlfriend Joanne Lees. They were exploring Australia's endless desert roads, unaware that someone else was watching. A vehicle suddenly appeared behind them, flashing its headlights and signaling for them to pull over. Thinking something might be wrong with their van, Peter stopped. But the moment he stepped out of the car, their road trip turned into a nightmare. According to Joanne Lees, a man approached carrying a shotgun. A deafening blast shattered the silence of the desert. The attacker then separated the couple, struck Lees, and forced Peter Falconio away from the vehicle into the darkness. That was the last moment anyone ever saw him alive. What happened next sounds like a survival story from a thriller movie. Joanne Lees managed to escape. She fled barefoot into thick spinifex bush, terrified and bleeding, convinced the man would return to hunt her. For hours, she hid in the darkness while vehicles passed on the highway. Nearly 5 hours later, she finally flagged down a massive road train truck and collapsed in panic. When police arrived, the scene was disturbing. The white Volkswagen wagon had a damaged taillight. There was blood inside the vehicle. The ground nearby showed tire marks and signs of a struggle. But Peter Falconio was gone. No body, no trail. Just the endless desert stretching into darkness. What followed was one of the most intense investigations in Australian history. Detectives examined every fragment they could find. Tiny fibers, paint particles, tire impressions, and witness sightings all became crucial pieces of a puzzle. Several drivers reported seeing a suspicious white ute on the highway that night. Slowly, investigators focused on one man, Bradley John Murdoch, a truck driver with a criminal past. After years of investigation, Murdoch was arrested in 2003. Prosecutors built a case based on forensic connections. Fibers found on Joanne Lees' clothing matched materials linked to Murdoch's vehicle. Paint particles and tire marks pointed toward the same suspect. Witnesses placed him near Alice Springs around the time of the disappearance. But one haunting problem remained. Peter Falconio's body was never found. In 2005, the courtroom became the center of global attention. Joanne Lees delivered emotional testimony describing the gunman, the terrifying night, and her desperate escape into the desert. Murdoch denied everything. His defense argued the case relied entirely on circumstantial evidence and questioned the reliability of memories and forensic analysis. How could anyone prove murder without a body? After weeks of testimony, the jury reached its decision. Bradley John Murdoch was found guilty of murdering Peter Falconio and was sentenced to life in prison. Yet the verdict did not silence the questions. Instead, the mystery grew even deeper. Because the most important question still has no answer. Where is Peter Falconio? Over the years, theories have spread around the world. Some believe Murdoch hid the body deep in the outback where the desert could conceal it forever. Others believe more people were involved. A few even wonder if something else entirely happened on that lonely road. The Australian Outback is one of the most remote places on Earth. Miles of desert stretch beyond the horizon. Out there, something can vanish and never be found again. Today, Murdoch remains behind bars. Joanne Lees returned to the United Kingdom and has tried to rebuild her life away from the spotlight. Peter Falconio's family still hopes one day the truth will finally emerge, because the story of the Falconio case refuses to disappear. It remains a haunting reminder that sometimes justice delivers a verdict while the full truth stays buried somewhere in the desert. And until Peter Falconio is found, the Stuart Highway will always hold one chilling mystery. What really happened in the outback that night?